you're looking into Christianity and you want to know more about this Jesus guy, well, here I've got 8 ways to help you to investigate. Number 1, read the Bible. Christianity is not a guessing game. We don't have to scrabble around in the dark, trying to work it out all by ourselves. Wonderfully, God speaks to us. He speaks to us in the Bible so that we can know what he's like and know what we are like. The Bible is sort of like a torch which shows us the way to go. So if you want to know more about Christianity, well, start reading the Bible. And I would suggest that you start reading a gospel, as they're a great way of being introduced to Jesus Christ. Now there's 4 of them, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, and all are accounts of Jesus' life. Now Christianity is all about Jesus, so if you begin investigating by reading one of these accounts, then you will be off to a great start. 2, pray. Now you may be thinking, praying? I'm not really sure how to do that or why I really want to do that. But praying is pretty essential and also very easy. It's essential because we sort of need God's help to find out anything about him. Left to ourselves, well, we can't really do it. It would be sort of like an ant trying to understand the mind of a human. And it's also really easy because it's like you're just talking to your dad. Just saying, "Dear God, I'm sorry that we don't talk very often. I really want to get to know more about you. Will you please help me? Amen." Which basically just means I agree. 3, think. There's sort of a vicious rumour going around that to be a Christian, you sort of need to ignore your brain. But it was Christians who established, well, most of the universities in our land and loads of the schools that we have all over Britain. And it was God who actually gave us these brains and gave us the ability to think in the first place. So let's use that ability. Let's start thinking. If you've got doubts, if you've got questions, well, ask, investigate. Christians, we love questions. I'm not saying that we're always going to be able to offer you like the perfect answer, but I am saying that there are good answers to be had. A buddy of mine who was a doctor found a website called BeThinking.com, really helpful when he started to investigate and to look into the claims of Christianity. So, as you start thinking, why don't you start there? 4, follow your feelings. One of the reasons I became a Christian was because I knew that there was something wrong. I could feel it. And the answers, what I was hearing from society, they just didn't really make any sense. And I could feel this internal struggle that, I just needed to be healed. And I now know that it's only Jesus who could heal me and free me from that guilt and that shame. So can I encourage you to follow your feelings? Maybe you also feel that something is wrong. Maybe you feel a longing which can't be satisfied by the latest Netflix show. Maybe you feel weak. Well, don't ignore these feelings. Follow them. 5, read a Christian book. Now, not everyone loves reading books, but if you're someone who does, then I can't recommend highly enough a great book called A Reason for God. I picked it up a few years ago when an atheist buddy of mine was sort of hurling all their questions and arguments at me, and I've just found it such a great treasure chest. Or maybe you'd want something a little bit shorter, a bit more easygoing, then what about More Truth? It's written by a wonderful friend of mine called Christy Mayer, and she looks at the topic of truth and how we can find certainty in our uncertain world. 6, come to church. Christian faith is not something that can be properly understood or experienced in isolation. We believe that when Christians gather together, God is present with us and speaks to us. So come along to church and witness that and be a part of that. And don't worry, we're not going to make you sing. So if you don't want to sing, you don't have to. No one's going to make you, honest. So come along to church and give it a go. 7, get in touch. Is there a question you want to ask? Do you want to meet face to face and talk things through? Well, don't waste a moment. Get in touch. Let's start that conversation. 8, start. Over the first lockdown, I wanted to learn to play the ukulele. And the only way I was going to be able to do that was by picking one up and starting to play. And at first, I was absolutely terrible. And in reality, even after a few months of practice, I'm not much better. But I can now play a few songs. If I hadn't started, then I never would have got to where I am now. You've just got to start. And the difference between playing the ukulele and investigating Christianity, well, it's the result. If you learn how to play ukulele, it's fun. But if you investigate Christianity, well, then you're getting to know the God of the whole universe. God who knows us and loves us. Isn't that worth it? So start.